And welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. And when we last left this ship, it was in orbit around Ike, doing some additional mapping. And this mapping has been quite thorough because I managed to leave this thing going a lot longer than I intended to. And the maneuver for the fueling ship is still 1,200,000 seconds out. So we've got time to go ahead and what I want to do is go ahead and do a plane change maneuver, put this thing in an equatorial orbit around Ike, and then switch to the other ship and bring it to Ike so that this thing, while it does have plenty of fuel, can have a full load of fuel when it goes for the Ike landing. I realize that I don't necessarily need that, but I've decided I want it. So I'm going to pop a maneuver here, 5 minutes up. And I'm going to go for the plane change and see what we can do here. Let's see. Need some anti-normal to level it out. And some retrograde to keep the orbit from getting bigger. .48 by 96, that's not quite good. 71. 96 by 98. And this one looks relatively very equatorial. Good, that's a good orbit to land from. Alright, and it's only going to cost 133 meters per second in delta V, so let's go ahead and get that taken care of. And let's see. Go ahead and get lined up on this thing. Sucker to slow down here. Get her lined up. All right. Okay, we're good to go. We have no idea of the actual burn duration, but I'm thinking 133 meters per second with this ship is probably going to be less than 10 seconds or so at full thrust, so we'll just time warp down to about 10 seconds and give it a go. Almost overshot. Throttle up. One minute and 4 seconds. Ay, ay, ay. Well, so much from my estimations. It should not be a problem. We should still end up in a fairly equatorial orbit and get to where we want to be. There's Ike with all of absolutely nothing to see on the night side. Bring up our flight stats. Inclination is coming down. Looking good. would be better if it stayed on the maneuver node. And if the engines stayed engaged, in other words, if I could manage to not hit X when I don't want to. Alright, looking good, in spite of managing to bungle it. We don't necessarily need the inclination to be exactly 0, I'm just aiming for that. Alright, inclination's going back up, it's time to stop. Remove the node, okay. Alright, that's a decent enough orbit, 3 degrees. Alright, so, we zoom out here, well, actually, yeah, we're in the map view, of course. Zoom out here, and let's switch to this ship. All right. Set Duna as target. The encounter is 14 days out. 15 days out there is an Ike encounter. So let's go ahead and time warp this sucker in there. And see if we actually have it work that way. Okay, we do have an alarm set for the sphere of influence change. That's good. Close alarm. And get through this SOI change. Last few seconds of it at normal speed. There we go. Alright. We're on course for an Ike encounter in 12 hours. And I kind of think let's see, let's get Ike set as target. Have a look at our flight stats. Alright, I think we're good to go here. I'm going to time warp a little bit closer. and then see about plotting a braking burn to get capture into Ike orbit directly. Because I think that's really what we want, since that's where the ship needs to go. Okay, we have a maneuver set up. Let's see what it's going to take. Wait a minute. Whoa. An Ike periapsis and an apoapsis. 512 kilometer Ike periapsis. Let's see if we can bring that down. That doesn't look so great. Smaller increments. Alright, we have a burn. This looks good. 731 meters per second. The ship has got plenty for that. We'll get lined up, set an alarm. Set the alarm now. Estimated burn, we don't know. Let's give it 5-minute warning. Oh, we're still time warping. No wonder I can't control anything. There we go. Alright, we're lined up. Let's time warp down and get this thing into Ike orbit. Alright, close that. Close this. Okay. I'm thinking I need to start burning almost immediately. And let's go. Alright, 2 minutes 43 seconds for the total burn. Burn at 1 minute 22 seconds. More. Trying very hard not to overshoot. Go. 1 minute 22 seconds. All right. And and I'll be back in 2.5 minutes. Alright, burn is getting down there, about 27 seconds left. But I have realized something. The inclination is way wrong. So once the burn time is over, like almost now, I'm going to continue burning so as to reverse the direction of orbit and get the inclination down where we need it to be, which is going to be close to about 3 degrees. So we'll just continue burning and flip this orbit around. And then, once we have an orbit in the direction we need, at the right periapsis, then we can see about a plane change to match up with the target ship. Inclination is now much lower and going down. Watch the periapsis, get that to about 100 kilometers. Okay, that's good. Kill the maneuver node. Now let's set our other ship as target. Okay, descending node. Add a maneuver. And bring that plane difference down to nothing. Minus 3.5. 2.6. 1.3. We're almost there. 0.6. Smaller and smaller increments now. Take some of that back out. All right. Minus 0.1 is going to have to be it. And now let's see if at the same time can we do some retrograde. Or is that even a good idea? I'm thinking no. So I'll cancel that net retrograde. Okay. We have a plane alignment burn, and then after that we can see about bringing the apoapsis down and get this orbit synchronized for an encounter so that these two ships can dock. 13-second burn. Go ahead and schedule it. "30-second warning." Let's get lined up. All right, time warp time. Okay. Okay, we'll start the burn at about 7 seconds before. That should put these ships in plane. Here we go. Alright, inclination now 3 degrees, which is very close to what we want for meeting up with the other ship. Close that node. Put one down here at periapsis. And circularize the orbit. And if we can get an encounter at the same time, so much the better. Alright, let's put this into a lower orbit than that of the target. So that we can catch up with it. Alright, that ought to be sufficient. Get lined up. "15-second burn in 17 minutes. Another alarm. This time 20 seconds lead time. Okay, burning at T-7. And burning. Alright, that's good. And now let's see what we can do at the new periapsis. Oh, hey, I see an encounter here. 7.9 kilometers apart. Let's see if we can improve that a little bit. 4.8, 3.6, that's good. 2.6, 1.8, 1.2, okay, that started to go back up, back it off a bit. .1 kilometers separation, looks good. Alright. And another 20 seconds, no, not 20 minutes, 20 seconds warning on the alarm. And that's going to put us very close to our target Excellent. All right, lined up. Let's do it. All right, close alarm. Get back on the node because we have drifted, because this thing does not hold alignment like it's supposed to. All right. Our predicted separation is 1.5. Let's see if we can use the thrusters to fix that a bit. Down to 1.0. All right, 1.0 looks good. And now, it's just about time to get into docking mode here very soon. I'm going to warp time down a little bit. We get closer. Actually, let's stop the warp a bit. No, we don't need a maneuver at this point. Alright, we're getting real close here. Smart ASS. Back to this view. There's our target, 8.3 kilometers away. Assume target relative velocity minus. Get ready to do some braking when we're about 1 kilometer away. Okay, don't need that for right now. Bit of lag there as the ship loaded. And decelerate. Okay, target plus, and let's start closing on the target. We'll get close, we'll park it. The fuel factory will then have to undock from the rover, leave it in orbit, while it docks with this thing to refuel it. I do believe that this landing attempt on Ike is actually going to be successful. I suppose I probably shouldn't say that because, you know, famous last words and all this. But I am hopeful. Okay, closing in. Let's time warp some of this. I want to park this thing about 100 meters out. Which means I think I need to start killing that velocity about now. All right. All right, that's good right there. Let's switch to the other ship. Try to get a view up here. Undock from the lander / rover. Reverse thrust back away. Bit of time warp to let that take effect. Okay. Oh, come on. You tell me I can't select the ship, is it? Ah, here we go. Good. Now let's go target plus with this ship. Turn those blasted thrusters off. You're wasting juice. Of course, we have enough to waste, but still. Let's close in a bit. And then switch back to the other ship for the actual docking. Well, how about that? It remembered my target lock. That is totally cool. I don't think it ever used to do that. In fact, I know it didn't. Alright, turn that off, SAS on, RCS on, and switch to docking mode. Roll this thing heads up so the controls face in a direction that makes sense. Alright, we're on target and closing 0.3 meters per second. And because this part of the flight is so incredibly exciting, I will cut back in when I'm ready to dock. Alright, here we are at the last moments of the docking approach. Target ship, the target docking port is 7 meters out. And we are just about to dock. The lander will then be refueled, and it will be cleared for Ike landing to load up on Kethane to take to Duna so that it can approach Duna and land there with a full tank. We're getting close. Slowing down a bit now. 0.16 meters per second approach. I'm using the numbers here. This CVEL is the closing velocity, and DST is the distance to the target port. That much I figured out. Coming in nice and slow, lined up perfectly. And we are docked. All right. Excellent. Now, I will be transferring fuel from this ship up here to the lander. And once I've emptied the Braccomax tank, I will undock the two ships and I have the fuel balancer balance the fuel load on the lander. And then in the next episode, we will be landing this thing on Ike. And that's our the next stage in this mission is the Ike landing. And we'll be doing that, like I said, we'll be doing that next time. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.